Westville residents in KwaZulu-Natal must pay for city services. This follows a win for the eThekwini Municipality after the Durban High Court dismissed the Ratepayers Association application seeking an interdict preventing the city from disconnecting services to them. The WRA had been staging a rates boycott, paying their charges into a trust account instead over poor service delivery. eThekwini Municipality Legal and Compliance Head Malusi Mhlongo joins us now for more. Good evening to you, Malusi, and thank you very much for your time tonight. I imagine the city is satisfied with that ruling.
Yes, we are. Thank you.
Why?
Because we've been vindicated by the court.
All right. When you say vindicated, what does that mean to you?
It means that the court regards it as unlawful to withhold payment when you have been given services.
So that's the letter of the law. It's on your side, as you say. That's now been proven. What about the spirit in the sense of what is just for those communities? We have spoken to the Westville Ratepayers Association a few times on the program, and they've shared what they consider their pain over service delivery. And we'll get into some of the specifics in just a moment. But is this about the law or about trying to balance where the law is in your favor against the concerns of the community? Do you see anything legitimate in those concerns?
Well, the concerns have merit. I can't dispute that. But in a country that is governed by the rule of law, in order to avoid anarchy and chaos, we have to respect the law.
I don't want to get into too much of a moral and a philosophical argument. As I say, you're the head of compliance. This is about compliance, and so they were found to have not been compliant with the law. What is your message to other communities that want to boycott rates and perhaps follow suit? Well,
that does not even need my message to them. It's tried that it's unlawful to withhold rates. It's like withholding your income tax to SARS. That's unlawful. So it goes without saying that there would be consequences that follow any unlawful conduct. However, if there are concerns that affect residents, I'm also a ratepayer myself. There are structures, there are public representatives that deal with the concerns of the community. There are structures and committees within the council that hold people accountable for poor service delivery.
Yeah.
But resorting to unlawful action it cannot be sustained.
We've done interviews, with the Ratepayers Association, but just in general, people say they follow the channels, they go to city officials, and they still get, a short shrift. Their concerns are not being addressed. So the idea in resorting to this type of what we would term, or what you would term, extreme action, how else can they get the city to do its job properly? What do you expect people to do who've said, we have now followed all of the channels? This is an act of desperation amid a really terrible state of affairs. They cite the AG concerns around unauthorized, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Millions and millions, you know the figures well because this is your department of expertise. The ratepayers are saying the city is not acting against those responsible. You've got these massive water losses, massive electricity losses. The city is just raising tariffs. It's a wholly abnormal situation. What recourse should they have when, Mr. Mhlongo, when the channels do not work anymore?
Well, the channels work. I dispute that the channels do not work. As I've said, I'm a resident of Westville myself. I do use my channels when there are service delivery issues that I have. So even if I'm a city employee, I do experience challenges with service delivery at times. Having said that, though, as I've said, there is no excuse for unlawful conduct. And if you follow the correct channels and you provide the information that is required by those, and you cooperate, and that has been the case with other ratepayers association. Ratepayers association from Umhlanga have issues as well. they raise them within the legitimate structures, they get addressed. They may not be addressed to the satisfaction of everyone. You see, with the limited finances that we have, you can't satisfy everyone within the city. There would be deficiencies in terms of service delivery. And I want to also clarify this issue about unauthorized and fruitless and wasteful expenditure as well as irregular expenditure. I am not aware of those high figures of unauthorized expenditure in the AG's report. What I'm aware of, though, it's the high figure of irregular expenditure. And the figure that is found by the AG to be irregular does not represent monies that were lost or monies that were stolen. The vast majority of irregular expenditure represents a figure of the expenditure that was incurred in breach of the 30% local content requirement that we should have used in our procurement. So the services were procured, we got value for money, but because there was non-compliance with the issue of local content, that expenditure was found to be irregular. So it flies in the face of the argument that that money could have been used for something else because we got value for that money.
Right. So, you know, when I hear you speak, A, the law is on your side. B, there are channels, you know, the community really must use those channels because the channels actually work. What is the final word tonight? There is, you know, a sense and an indication they might take this to the senior courts. But, you know, given their experience and given the outcome in the court, what would you urge those communities to do who say that they are not getting the services that they are paying for?
Well, I live in eThekwini. I dispute that. We get the services that we are paying for. They may not be perfect. We may be unhappy at times, but that goes for everyone, not just Westville residents. And as I've said, I live in Westville, and I'm pretty much satisfied with the level of services that we are getting.
All right. Thanks for talking to us. eThekwini Municipality Legal and Compliance Head, Malusi Mhlongo.